Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to look at a brand new iron, an extension to the Srixon family. We have already looked at the ZX4 and 5. I think it's fair to say that we've been excited about that, and then having tested it and done our own sort of work in the background, we're really pleased with what we're seeing from those, Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, a classic. I think every year Srixon, or every second year Srixon comes out with something fresh, and they've always done a great job for us.
This has been a sort of release for them since 2014, the 7 and the 5 range. People will be familiar with that, the first 745s, the 545s, and then the 65s, 85s, etc. But one thing that's been missing has been an iron that is in the more game improvement, stroke, super game improvement category. I think iron categories have expanded in recent years with the hollow body constructions. We used to look at it like game improvement irons. You'd have a player's cavity iron, and then you'd have a blade. That would be the 3 main sections. Now we've got subsections, and one of those that's expanded right now is this super game improvement that we're seeing from certain companies. And an extension to the Srixon line, I think, is welcome, Mikey, because the 5, in my eye, to a higher handicapper, it probably is a little intimidating.
Yeah, definitely.
We see the players who are better players and lower handicappers who embrace that one and go, I love a set of those.
Yeah, probably the best set for us to combo as well.
Definitely.
But I think to have something more game improvement, more expanding their demographic of player is smart. They had a 355.
Yeah, it was a 355. You're absolutely right. It was around the time of the 745. It was the early edition.
Bit of a sleeper. Didn't do
didn't do great, and it was a departure. It didn't look like an extension of that family. It had a different look to it, the kind of shaping of the head, and it never really done too well. And you can always tell when a company, even they didn't support it as well as they were certainly supporting the 7s and 5s at that time. And then they went away. Obviously they've kind of focused more on the bread and butter 7s and 5s like we talked about, and now they're back with it. And I'm not sure, Mikey, when I look at this new ZX4, is this new head, is this what they've learned from the technology they've put into the utility?
Has to be.
Is it a merger of what's been in the ZX7, ZX5 and the utility, and then that's what's came together to create this?
I think still being like multi-material, it will find it's still pretty easy to get a few degrees out of it. So even to blend ZX4 and ZX5 or utility iron and ZX4, I think we'll see a lot of combo sets with this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised with this guy, and hopefully, I'm hoping we are too. Looking at the spec chart here, 25.5 degrees of loft on the 6 iron. Guys, I don't want you to focus on that, if that's possible. I would like us to focus on the construction of the head. What does it do to offset this 25.5 degree head? Still here in the chat rooms and in the comments in our videos, people that are upset about this loft jacking and lofts getting stronger, etc., etc. This is aimed at a very specific section of the market. The people who are needing extra distance, they need height, they need lower center of gravities, and that's what this offers. Yeah,
I know when we were building the demos too, I noticed the head weight super light again. It was like 255, so we're light.
I mean, to give you guys some context, my Mura 6 iron head is 265. So 10 grams lighter per head. It's like most people's 5 iron effectively in head weight, and people will be saying, watching this video, and loft. But the CG progression is such that it will launch like a 6 iron. The face will contribute in this face flex technology that the companies are now building into these irons. It will create some contribution and additional launch. And the reality is, even though the lofts are stronger, the likelihood of hitting this higher than even I would hit my own iron is highly likely. So take us through the tech a little bit. What's sort of in here?
I mean, the nice thing for a game improvement iron, there's a little bit of tungsten in there. They have progressive grooves even in the shorter stuff. So although this is game improvement, a lot of times people say, distance, no spin, no control. their grooves in the 8 to pitching wedge. They're deeper, they're sharper, so you will have a little bit more of that stopping power, which is huge for, whether it's game improvement player or a player. You know what I mean? It's having that control is going to be awesome for these.
Definitely. And I think that progression is the key to this. And has been the key to the success of these designs, because you wouldn't want a pitching wedge that's designed the same way as a 4. There's just one design that flows from 4 through to wedge. That would defeat the purpose. The wedge has to perform like a wedge, a bit like the Miura PI 401s that we just done. The wedge behaved like a wedge, and then you definitely saw a progression in ball speed and performance as the set went down and loft. And you would want that.
Yeah.
You'd want more help with that. So let's hit a few. Let's kind of see what it offers. Expecting some toasted distances.
Yeah.
I'll do some baselines with my Miura. Just give us a little five shot baseline, and then we'll work off of that.
Cool.
Okay. All righty.
All right, so the combo that we've built up to test with the ZX4 is MMT 105S. We have it at the standard loft, 25.5. Standard length right now. The first test we're gonna do, Ian's gonna be swinging at 80 miles an hour, just to give you more of some context for the slower swing speeds out there, and we'll see how it performs.
Yeah, I think that's a relevant test, Mikey, because me kind of hitting it compared to mine, it'll be interesting to see what one sort of technology does versus the other with the same swing, but also we want to show people what it does with their swing and their speed, more importantly. That's the one thing that we understand that is sometimes maybe harder to grasp about certain things that we do, is that it's that speed that you don't do it at, so understandably you have a harder time, or the viewers have a harder time relating it to them. So let's do that. Let's look at, see what those numbers are. Are we sacrificing anything, or are there benefits? Focusing on obviously things like peak height and land angle. Two main key things. Distance. Obviously, people are always looking to get it closer to the hole. Like we always say, with every shot, the further we can advance it towards the hole in every given shot, your chances of scoring lower go up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Better strike?
Yep. As long as we're seeing...
Peak height definitely drops in descent angle, but you're not swinging them as hard as...
Exactly. I think if we can just try and see that peak height around 80.
I was just say, but at that speed, that peak height's pretty good. Yeah. 75 to 80.
It really would be.
So they do sound really good.
They do.
For that game improvement hollow body construction, they have that little high pitched sound, but they don't sound like, I call them clunkers almost. You know what I mean? That toe hitch. They sound like a normal iron.
Nice, yeah. It actually looks great at address as well.
Sits super clean to the turf, which is nice. That was nice.
Yeah. One time.
Sounded good. All right, so interesting little test with the 80 mile an hour swing speed. I mean,
that speed.
We know for a fact that spin isn't going to be high as your Miura irons, that sub 5,000 spin. Mm-hmm. But like we were chatting about earlier, you mentioned that when your speed drops, your your averages of height and descent angle and spin are going to drop. But when we look at 80 miles an hour, your descent angle still, you know, averaging 41.
It's not too bad. And
your peak height's just right around 80. So, I mean, that's still a pretty playable iron. You look at the launch on that, it's good. It's really good. I mean, we can see it's not that crazy distance iron. It can be.
Yeah.
But I still think there's a ton of playability in this iron.
Yeah, I think that's nice. A nice little sample size of that. Peak height 79. We always talk about that little 1-to-1 ratio for amateur golfers. When you go for a fit and you're looking at your 6 iron, match your peak height to the speed. Right, that's an 80 mile an hour test, and it shook us out right at around just under 80 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So I'd be in a fit, if I'm on the other side of the desk and I've got a client in there, I'm delighted with those numbers.
Definitely.
And looking at that output, when 168 carry out of a 81, 82 mile an hour swing, that's really good bang for your buck. That's a lot more than most people who are watching this going, well, that's me.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
80 miles an hour, and I certainly don't hit my 6 iron 170 yards in the air. So I think that's good.
Love it.
Okay, let's hit some standard speed ones and compare then to a regular lofted, non-face flexed iron like the Mura.
Okay.
All right, Michael, let's take the governor off it, and I'm expecting these to pack a fair punch. The loft obviously is one thing, the technology, the amount of tungsten, the low deep CG. You know, you're not going to create a head with that type of structure with a kind of nice wide base without having that CG really deep and low. That's going to help with the launch angle. We will sacrifice some spin, but the key for us is what is the land angle retention? Are we still landing those nice and steep?
Yeah, because anytime these irons come in through the door, we call them rocket launchers. We know they're going to go forever, and you know, I'm excited to see the control and consistency we see out of these.
Definitely.
Was hit.
Tell you what, this is one of the best irons in this category I've hit.
It's a good strike. Sounds really good.
Yeah, it does. It sounds solid, doesn't it? It doesn't sound hard. Certainly doesn't sound clicky. Just sounds really solid.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Very impressive results with that. Expecting that we would see obviously some jumps in distance, the nature of one iron versus the other, but I think we saw some other things going into that there that are really encouraging. So if we can kind of focus first just on the delivery, and basically we're giving it the same delivery. That was intentional, obviously, to try to see if we can be fair to the result. And obviously the speed, the path, the angle of attack, those are all the things that we can control. And we've came out pretty good. The efficiency clearly is a big, big jump.
It's insane.
So if you're looking for more bang for your buck, effectively more output. So if your output stays the same, which mine was there, 97.5 miles an hour with both, the ball speed that I was getting was a 7 mile an hour jump.
Crazy.
Really, really good. So the pickup in distance, 17 yards. The spin loss was a lot less than we thought it would be.
Yeah, I was expecting that low bullet, that no help, and that's not what we're getting out of it. This is an impressive game improvement iron for sure.
Yeah. So, and one thing to focus on as well, and those of you who watch the channel have seen these videos where we do these comparisons with game improvement and these hot hollow bodied irons, I really try and get you guys to focus on this, that even if you lose a little bit of launch, we've lost 0.7 of a degree, we've lost 666 RPMs of spin. The gain in ball speed has overridden both of those things to create more peak height. We've actually got a 7 foot higher peak. So when it comes to that land angle, which obviously we're focused on, that's where we're still able to gain a nice amount of control coming into the green.
Definitely.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. Again, for that guy who's looking for, I always think of my dad in this instance.
Sure.
That's going to keep him scoring and actually having a chance to stop it on a green, because it performs. It's really, really impressive.
Definitely. And I'm really pleased Srixon have waited till they got it right. And they have got it right with this one. This is one of the best game improvement irons that I've ever tried, felt. I think the look of it, standing there just forgetting that it's even an iron that's with this much help, it just looks really, really nice at address.
I mean, yes, it has offset. It's a little bit bigger construction, but we've talked about it right against the turf. It's super tight. It doesn't look, like you said, 4 irons throughout the bag.
No.
It's a really clean package.
Yeah, done a great job. So as these go down, obviously, there's 4 iron. I mean, if the 6 iron goes 208 yards, I mean, what does the 4 iron do? I mean, for a lot of people who prefer an iron, having that 4 iron in there with a little bit more heat with that tungsten and CG so low and deep that you can still get the flight up, that might be a better idea for somebody who does like an iron.
Definitely. I'm excited for these. This will be a fun one to fit with this year for sure.
Definitely. Well, a great addition to the Srixon line, a welcomed sort of family member to the 7 and the 5, which we already loved. We're a little late to the test with this one, but it was worth the wait.
Yeah, definitely.
It definitely was. Okay, guys, more testing to come. We'll do some head-to-head tests. I think that's the next test we would do with this. Give you guys an idea, how does it perform next to G425 and other irons that have a similar look and design and designed at a specific player out there.
Definitely.
Good, okay, stay tuned for that. We'll see you again soon.